on stress management and awareness on our kids, as well as ourselves. I mean, part of my commitment to y'all is kind of like having this meeting today to pull us all together this last few days, but to also make a calmer scenario for all of us, because I think that will help with us being better, is if we are calm. So like the calm we worked on yesterday and all that stuff should really start to help calm us and keep us to a good place. But I told her it's a very stressful job, what we do. I'm sure everybody's job has their thing. Ours just seems to never stop. So we're going to learn how to kind of manage that a little bit better. So take it.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks everyone for having me here. I just met Julie, I think, last week or the week before, and we talked about doing this. So I'm really happy to be here. I am a wellness educator with a business just down the street, Epic Healthcare. So we're a holistic medical clinic. All of our doctors are actually members of a national nonprofit called Foundation for Wellness Professionals. And our whole goal is to get out to the community and to educate people on how to live healthy and how to really enhance wellness in their life. So that's why I'm here. So I'm really happy to be here. My goal today, because I think I have about 20 minutes, is really to give you all what we call a 15-degree pivotal shift in the way you think about health and stress. So just if we can tweak a few things over time, that's going to build up a lot of momentum so you can start living healthier, and it's going to become a natural part of who you are. It's not something that you have to think about, because I know we have this at our clinic, and Julie talked about, you guys always have me to be on your game. The last thing you need is another thing you have to think about doing every day. So if we can just tweak your approach to how you live and how you deal and manage stress, then that's awesome. That's going to do a lot for you. So what we like to talk about is how to have a proactive versus a reactive approach to healthcare and to how we take care of ourselves. So what would be a reactive approach to your health?
You're sick, so you get medicine?
Right, okay, that's a great example. Yeah, so you're sick and you get medicine, or you start noticing something's going on with your body, but you've got a lot to do, you don't know what's going on, you're busy, and you just keep putting it off, right? Until something drastic happens and you end up in the ER, or something more serious is going on. That would be, and that's when you start taking care of it. That's what we would say is a reactive approach. So we want to do what is called a proactive approach, and to start living healthy and integrating health into your life every day. And this is really going to help with stress as well. So did everyone get one of those sheets over here? No.
Julie went next.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know how many you were today. I didn't bring it up. So one thing that I find really interesting is Americans in the United States, we consume around 80% of the entire world's medications. Yet if you look at the World Health Organization and their ranking of countries' healthcare systems and the health of their citizens, we're at 37. So that's a really big disparity in how we are experiencing health and how we're living our lives today. Since you brought up medications and we mentioned it, how many people take maybe over-the-counter medication like aspirin, Tylenol, Motrin when maybe you have an ache or a pain or a headache, right? Okay, so one thing to know is that 20% of all kidney disease is actually caused by those types of over-the-counter medications. So taking them a few times a year, totally fine, but when you take them, some people just take them every day. Over the years that builds up, and that can actually cause a lot of damage on the body. So when we're talking about stress, we're looking at 3 different kinds of stress. We're looking at physical stress in the body, which is when you've had injuries, when you've had anything going on, any sickness, any disease in your body, anything going on that you don't take care of, that you don't correct, that actually creates stress on the body. And over time, that can create even more damage. Is there, yeah, let me go ahead and see that. Great. So, anyways, so going back to if you guys will look at the sheet, the alarming facts. So this is something that I'm going to give you all to keep. So I'm not giving this to you disparity by any means. It's all about increasing awareness. So if you can become more aware of these things that most people take, they don't even think about. Most people don't really even think about, it's over the counter, it must be okay. I can take Tylenol whenever something's going on. But when you realize the effects it's having on your body, it makes you think differently. And if you could find a more natural way to correct that rather than medication, wouldn't that be ideal? Wouldn't that be something that we all want to do, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Another thing to note when we talk about stress on the body, 40% of people who have heart disease, their very first symptom is a fatal heart attack. And I don't know if anyone has, you all know who Sheryl Sandberg is, right? CEO of Facebook. So a couple of years ago, her husband, who was the CEO of SurveyMonkey, 50 years old, I think he was like around 50 years old, and he's just on a treadmill in Mexico, and he falls off the treadmill and he ends up dying from they thought it was a head trauma, but it turned out that he had some kind of heart condition going on, and no signal whatsoever. So it's because of things like that we actually want to get out in the community and educate people, so that way this doesn't happen to you and this doesn't happen to someone you know. So we talked about the physical aspect of stress. Emotions, right? And there's an emotional cause of stress. And this is what you're going to deal a lot with always having to be on your game, and also with the kids that you deal with here, right? So I was actually talking to our doctors when Julie asked me to come in and talk to you all. What is it like to be a kid these days? Is it more stressful or less stressful than it used to be? And our doctors they immediately agreed, yeah, it's a lot more stressful than it used to be, because kids have so much going on, right? They have so many different activities. My old boss at my old job, her kids had like 13 extracurricular activities every single week that they did. Okay, so it's always like there's pressure to perform, there's pressure to be on their game, to do all these activities, and now there's all these schools, preparatory schools, Montessori schools, community schools that you've got to have like resumes to get into. So like 3, 4, 5-year-olds almost have resumes now. So there's a lot of pressure on them to perform. So how do you handle that? How do you teach kids to live healthy and to deal with all of this, all of what they have going on in their life, right? So what kinds of things could be considered an emotional cause of stress? So families, families are great, and I'm a big family person. I love spending time with my family. Yet there's stress related to that, right? Would you all agree? If you're married or have a partner or a spouse, right? Great. There's stress with that, right? How many of you have children of your own in here? Okay, would you agree that as much as you love them, it's stressful? Okay, and then you happen to have a career where you're around kids all the time, right? So you have a lot of responsibility being an image maker for them, right? Because these kids look up to you. Would you agree? Like these kids look up to all the staff here? I'm pretty sure they do, right? So,
Especially me. A
So-
lot of neck problems in this gym.
So one thing that's really interesting is that people are becoming more and more aware of in today's society is that emotional stress can actually cause physical pain in the body. It can actually cause physical changes in the body. It can create sickness. It can create disease in the body. So it would be great, wouldn't you agree, to have ways to manage those emotional causes of stress, to deal with them in a way where they wouldn't have such a significant impact on us negatively, right? So that's another thing we look at. The third cause of stress on the body is chemicals, right? And so chemicals include just environmental toxins, environmental pollutants, which we're all exposed to, especially living in the city. Here in Texas, it's very hard to get away from that. You can buy water purifiers, you can buy air purifiers, but still, just anywhere you go, right, we're exposed to this now. It's just a fact of life. Food, right, what we put in our bodies, those are also chemicals causes of stress. So at our office, we have an acupuncturist who has been in practice for over 20 years, and one thing he's told me is, like, if you're ever having stress in your life, get off the caffeine, get off alcohol, get off sugar. Which is what a lot of us, myself included, turn to, right? When the stress
We're at Fourth of Fire. Oh my God.
So I get it. I do that too, right? You have a big day. You got to drink your coffee, or it's like Friday and you had a long week and you want to have a drink to chill out, right? I get it. Just it's not about like saying, oh, I can never do that again, but just being aware that when you are already stressed, those types of chemicals are actually going to increase stress in your body. So what we like to look at is how can we find other ways to help you manage that, all right? So you can do that in moderation, or you have other options, right? You have other options, so you can take better care of your health. So one thing that, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna give, what I'd like to leave you all with is just some things you can do at home every day, easy things you can do to start living stress-free, reducing stress in your life, and just living more present, being more in the moment, being more focused, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. But one thing I want to notice, what I want to mention is how many people would believe that, in our country, people value the health of their bodies, rate it pretty high. Would you guys agree or disagree with that?
I don't think a lot. I think it's getting better as our economy is growing, because now health is such a big thing. But I think for a while it was not
Right.
something at all.
Yeah. So we're kind of in this transition. And what's really interesting, and for us, and you guys have a unique view into this because of the line of work you do, the careers that you've chosen. But just seeing people who have a lot going on, they know they have stuff going on, they know that they're in pain, yet it's just not a priority for them. Yet imagine if you're driving down the road, and you saw the check engine light go off in your car. Most people wouldn't think twice about going and getting that fixed and doing whatever they needed to do to make sure they had a car to drive, right? So would anyone here, if their check engine light came on, would anyone here take a black piece of tape and put it over that? They don't know. And what would happen? What would happen if you did that? Eventually, if you didn't do anything, the car would die. So our bodies are the same way, right? If we don't take care of our bodies, eventually something will happen. If our body is sending us a signal, then that's a message saying, hey, you need to, in the summer, drinking as much water as possible, okay? Eating more fruits and vegetables that have a high water content, all right? So eating more nutritiously, just, if you can integrate more solids, more fruits and vegetables, organic if possible, right? That's one way that's actually going to clear your body. It's a way you can take care of your health so you can avoid getting that sickness, and you can avoid those things that might happen down the line, okay? And I think that's you said, people are becoming more aware, so I think a lot of you are looking at me like, yeah, we already know that, right? A second thing you can do is, although having a regularly structured exercise regime is ideal, most people can actually solve most of their exercise needs with just a 20-minute walk a day. So what researchers have found is just taking a 10-minute walk outdoors can actually affect your mood for up to 2 hours. So if you guys ever find yourself really stressed, find 10 minutes. Make 10 minutes for yourself. Go on a quick 10-minute walk and notice how it's going to affect your mood. You're going to feel more positive. It's going to release endorphins in your body, and that those effects last up to 2 hours. And if you can, if I don't think this really applies to you. I'm sure you guys are pretty active here, but even just 20-minute walks, taking a 20-minute walk a day is going to do a lot to help with your fitness needs and your exercise goals. Okay. Third thing that we tell people to do is meditate. Okay, just 20 minutes a day. So meditation, 20 minutes a day, just sitting quietly, being okay, being in your own head, whatever thoughts are coming up, just being with yourself. That relieves stress. Okay, that actually builds your immune system. So integrating a daily meditation practice or prayer, something like that, is really helpful. How many people?
Is that okay? So I work out in the morning, but meditating, is that better in the morning? Is that better at night? Does it matter?
No, whenever you can do it. Whenever you can do it. Daily is best. So and at least 20 minutes.
Yep.
I know some of the Buddhist monks will say, an hour in the morning, an hour at night. I don't have time for that. but most people, if they really want to, can find 20 minutes a day. And I started doing this last fall, and I can promise you, major shifts, marvelous, marvelous things begin to happen when you just start doing that every day. You become calmer. In addition to the physical effects where you're releasing endorphins, it's almost like you're shedding stress from the body. You're learning just to be okay, being still. You have better focus. You become better listeners. It's really marvelous. So just experiment with it and see how it works for you. Yeah.
So I've been trying that actually, and it's really hard for me not to fall asleep while I do it. The book I read said it's natural for that at first, but I'll be 10 And then I wake up 25 minutes later. Tips.
I need balance for that, that's true.
It means
And
that
it's
she
even
needed that now.
Yes.
That's what it means.
It's, yeah. So with that, and I've experienced that too. That could just tell your body. That just could be telling you that your body does need more rest. Maybe you need more sleep. I don't know. Maybe you're actually really meditating and you're just that good at it.
And after that second time, I was like, great.
Did you reach Nirvana? Why do you take off the dress? I was meditating.
Yeah, that's great. You know, and I've fallen off of it. I've fallen off of it for the past month, and I've noticed a big difference. And so I've noticed myself actually just, drinking more. And, I'm stressed, and it's easier to drink a glass of wine than to meditate. But I noticed when I was meditating, my consumption of caffeine, sugar, those types of things really went down. So that's great. So just keep practicing.
I have a question. What do you do for those 20 minutes when you meditate? Do you think about life? Do you just try and think about nothing?
Oh, that's a whole other class.
Can we have you back, Heidi? But any kind of quick, because I would have the same question.
What I'll do, how much time do I have?
You're fine.
Okay.
Just want to from your next.
Yeah, so what I'll do, I have Julie's email, so I actually have her write-up, and I'll email it to her so she can send it to all of you, but just so that way you have more in-depth instructions. But the best thing to do is to, the way I was taught, there's many different types of meditations. Okay, I've done a few different ones. My favorite one has been a mindfulness of Vipassana meditation, and it's really just where you're sitting calmly, you're just really focusing on your breath. You're gonna think, right? You're gonna have thoughts, especially at the beginning. You might get sleepy. You might even have some different types of emotions come up. Like for me, I had a lot of sadness come up. I had a lot of anger. And that's actually a good thing because your body stores emotions. They get imprinted in your body on a cellular level, and so by meditating, you're actually releasing those. So the best thing to do is just whatever thoughts you have, just notice them. All right. So we say just don't be attached to them. Don't try to force yourself not to think because that's not going to work. That's actually going to cause you to stress even more. It's going to tire you out. But just let whatever thoughts happen come. And the best technique I have found is just to focus on bodily sensations. So one thing you can do when you're first starting is just to focus on the sensations of the air going in and out of your nose. So just the sensation around the nostrils of your inhale and your exhale. All right? And then after you've done that for a couple weeks, then you can just start noticing sensations in your body. You're probably going to feel tingly. You might feel all different kinds of sensations at different places. So just put your attention there and just observe it and just be with it. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to stop yourself from not thinking. The whole idea is just to be okay having whatever thoughts you're having. And then eventually it'll become easier to sort of get out of that thinking process. And for some people it might take a week, some people it might take a month, some people it might take a year. There's no competition, there's no race. So the good news is you can't do it the wrong way. There is no wrong way to meditate. Exactly. But I will send that right up so you can have more in-depth. Cool. So we have a group of people who are interested in meditation. That's awesome. The last thing that has been extremely beneficial, and a lot of productivity experts and coaches have noted this, is how many of you keep to-do lists? Okay. How many of you keep to-do lists in your head? Okay, so get them out of your head and onto paper. What happens is your conscious mind has a finite amount of energy, okay? So when you are trying to keep mental lists in your head, it's stored in your brain, and your unconscious mind doesn't know when you're supposed to be doing it. It just knows that you are. So you're going to have, it's going to take a lot of mental power, it's going to take a lot of that finite resource we have trying to remember everything. So getting it out on paper, keeping it on paper, keeping it out of your mind, out of your head, and onto paper where you'll use it, going to change things a lot for you. Now, how many of you have had things on your to-do list for years? Okay, so what I would recommend doing is creating I'm not going to do this list, okay? So there are things that all of us have had on our to-do list for years. So taking a good look at those and really asking yourself, am I ever really going to do this? And be okay if the answer is no. And if the answer is no, take it off your list. Okay? So because that can also just choose at you, and it takes up, again, that finite amount of energy we have, that mental energy we have, it takes that up. So those are just a few of the things that we've noticed, just like I said, this 15-degree pivotal change in the way you think. It's going to build momentum. So it seems really small, but integrating some of these into your life and keeping up with it, maintaining it, it's almost like a funnel that starts out small and then it's going to get really big. Okay. So last thing I just want to mention is I did mention that I work at a holistic medical clinic. We're right down the road. So we've been in practice for over 20 years here in the Farmont area. We have an osteopath who is our medical director. We have chiropractic care, we do physical therapy, we do detoxification, weight loss, acupuncture, medical massage, cold laser. We do all of this in-house, and because we do all of it in-house, we're really able to help our patients get the results that they want to get, because we have this team of specialists who are communicating together. One thing we've noticed, and I'm sure you all have too, how many of you noticed that healthcare is getting more expensive? Okay.
Not anymore. Thank you, Julie.
Health insurance. For a lot of people, coverage is going down and premiums are going up, right? Have you guys noticed that? So like for our office, what we see a lot, so our goal is to help as many people as we can. In our office, our first patient visit, you meet with you have a consultation, we do a whole health history, we do a medical exam, a physical exam, we do diagnostics including a computerized nerve analysis and x-rays. So normally that runs about $350 to $400. So what I want to offer to you today, because Julie asked me here, you guys have been so great. If any of you have like a pain concern, if any of you have a health concern or a pain concern, maybe it's something that is recent, or maybe it's been with you for a long time and you just haven't known what to do, or maybe you haven't realized until now that I should do something about it, I want to offer you that first visit for $47. Okay? Wow. And the reason we do this is we don't want to ask anyone to pay $400 to find out if we can help them. So what we do on that first visit is we are going to see if we can help you. If we can help you, we'll let you know. So I just want to offer that to all of you. So if you're interested in that, I did pass out those stress surveys. So if you'll just fill out the top portion, and then maybe we have a minute or two, you can come see me. And I actually have appointment times here. We can get those booked for you because, like I said, our whole goal is to help people live healthier and happier. So if you have pain, that's not okay. And if you do have a pain concern, we'd love to help.
For me, question. Yeah, kids and stress. How do we? I mean, I know there's certain recognizable ways. Is there like things we can be more observant to, or like a pattern with kids if we're trying to pick up? Because parents get really, if you say they have anxiety or stress, parents get very defensive.
Oh yeah, those are like kind of
yeah, you don't say that ever, but we're kind of stuck in this middle ground of we think it, but we're not medical professionals either. But if you would suggest it, that's not good either.
So probably one thing, there's ways to, that's a good point, like, so are you saying like the parents don't really want to hear about it? And that's like what we talked about earlier, like this demand on kids to have porn to be part of that. So, I mean, I don't have kids of my own, but for people who do have kids, I'm assuming the parents kind of like the gatekeeper of that, right? That's a tough situation. I think just being the best you guys can be here, making this a really great place for the kids to be. I know that Julie was saying that you guys, are really competitive, and that's great. Competition is a great thing. Be that person that kid will remember 20 years from now, right? Because that's really all you can do. Be that person that the kid's going to remember at their college graduation or whatever, whatever they're doing. Letting them know if something doesn't go right for them, whether it's here or at school or at home, that it's okay. Like, you still think they're great, and I think just that positive reinforcement is going to do a lot. And then, there's other communication techniques that I teach as far as like building rapport with people about that. We can talk about that too.
Oh, okay, great.
Well, it kind of goes with what she was saying, but something struck me when you were saying that 7% of communication is through words. Has there been anything that's been tested or statistics that show because of now kids most of the days are texting and there's no intonation, there's no body language?
Yeah.
Do kids have trouble communicating nowadays? Like if we were out there at the gym coaching someone, they can't communicate because they don't know how, because the only thing they do is text.
That's a great question. I don't work around kids that often. What are you guys seeing? Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with my own kids.
Yeah.
My daughter, who just finished her cheer career here, they have so much of their conversations by text and Snapchat and all that kind of thing that they don't necessarily have, like you said, the tone of voice and the body language. And so I've seen very specific times where they've had miscommunications because what was said didn't come across the way it was meant. And I can't tell you how many times I've said, talk to them in person. Don't get upset or offended by what was texted when that might not have been the way they meant it. The way you took it may not be the way it was meant. And so tone of voice, I think tone of voice is higher than you said even. Because, there have been other times where at our house, what was said was correct and appropriate, but the way it was said and the tone of voice that was used was not necessarily an appropriate, way. It made the other person pull back or be offended because of the tone, even though what was saying was true.
Gotcha.
I don't know how you get them off the phones now that they have them, but
Yeah.
but definitely trying to make sure that the tone and the body language fits what you're saying and not. But yeah, I don't know how you necessarily get to the ones that can't express themselves, which I'm not doing very well myself right now.
And we know exactly.
So it's hereditary.
I was just curious too, because I was working with this girl the other week in Australia, and anything she did to me was just this. They call her shrubs because the only thing that she would ever do is.
Right. So that's a good example. So now, what if she was doing that and she said, "Yes, I understand," and she's just sitting there? What has more impact to you?
Sure.
We don't play that.
Right.
Do you really understand?
Me and Allison don't play that.
So that's just an example of like that body language. That has a more powerful communication than if she was saying words that sort of conflicted with that. So okay, so here's just because this has a lot of interest for you. So as an aside, I do teach actually a whole communication program called Neuro-Linguistic Programming. So it's one of the most incredible communication programs on the planet. So that's where some of this information is coming from, and some of you seem pretty interested in this. But one thing I do teach in my classes as an example of this is I'm standing here and I say, I didn't steal the book. What did I communicate to you? Yeah, you can assume from that a book is stolen, but I'm saying I didn't steal the book, right? Now what if I said it this way? I didn't steal the book.
You took it, but you didn't.
Borrowed it.
Yeah. Right? And then what if I said it this way? I didn't steal the book.
Stole something else.
Right? So exact same words, but just like you said, just the tonality, just that auditory change, changing one word, it just completely changed the meaning of the sentence, right? So so there's that's a whole other.
One other thing about kids not always knowing how to talk, they're kept quiet in school. They're told don't talk in class, and some kids are told don't talk at home. They're not allowed to speak up, or they're not allowed to say their mind. And so they get here, and along with the text, they don't necessarily know how to communicate. And I've seen kids, not necessarily here, but just in my life, that don't talk much because they've never been given the choice. They've never been given the option to have a voice. So, that,
Well, and what's really sad is LISD has taken speech communication out of the required classes
Oh.
for
And
graduation.
replaced
Did
it
they?
with iPads. Now everyone's required in middle school and elementary school to have an iPad that they take home.
So these kids in
Really?
school aren't being taught communication skills, which is really sad.
Yeah. By 2025, we're not gonna have.
That's how you're
And maybe we should have you offer a class here, like, like for the parents and the kids to come to, because nobody's doing it for them. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna talk about kids and communication. I got a really good compliment from a parent. Y'all know Charlize on the gym team?
yep.
Who said 3 words her whole career here. Got talking to her mom, and apparently Charlize won't shut up at home. So when she gets here, she doesn't know anybody, and I told her mom, I was like, well, I'm the kind of coach and as a person in general, I'm gonna talk to you until you tell me to leave, or you're gonna talk to me. And she said that has been a huge deal for Charlize, that she comes home like, Coach Eli said this, and this, and she's actually listening even though she stands there like that, you know? So, just talk to them, like, if we're worried about if they're listening or not. I think a lot of times they are, but they said they don't know how to talk back to us because they don't. But
Yeah.
I've literally made Charlize talk to me, like, saying, I'm not gonna move from right here until you talk. Okay, all right, she said, okay, we're moving on. You know, like,
Awesome. Well, that's a great example of like you just doing that for the kid and seeing how it's having that ripple effect when they go home. You know, obviously it's just going home like that. So awesome.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah. That's
Can I
awesome.
say one more thing? I know I've talked a lot in this part, but I see the kids, I check them in for classes before they go see the coaches. And you guys have an effect on these kids, because I see them when they come in for their first class, and I see them when they leave at the end of the day. And some of them come in running, you know, as soon as you Bethany knows. As soon as they come in, first off, because they're excited to be here. Some of them come in like this, oh my gosh. But most of them leave better, in a better mood than when they got here. And I've seen ones that come in barely saying a word, like Charlize. I know Charlize. And I still don't see her talkative, but I believe you that she talks to you. But I see kids that have started coming in, even little Kay Barnett. Kay Barnett
Oh my God.
never said a word when she came here to the gym. And she's, you know, not even been on team very long, and you know, she already talks more to other adults, other kids. You guys have an effect on them, whether y'all see it or not, you do. And I do see, even just in classes, you know, that if they've had a good class, their head's held high when they leave, they go running out, they're excited, it makes a difference.
I think a big part of that is not just talking to the kids that you coach. I talk to all the kids, that even kids that I don't coach, that are in other tumbling classes, and you can see which ones are real big talkers, like the same, for instance, some of the same gymnasts come in, I try to talk to them every single day. They don't say a word, but I still try every single day to try and get them to talk, just to let them know it's okay to talk to other people and stuff like that. But most of the kids I talk to are kids that aren't in my class or that aren't on my team. And like, I'll joke around with them, oh, nice leotard, I almost wore that same one today, like, and they just kind of laugh about it. Like, I think it's big too, because we do see that, especially with the little ones, they only respond to 2 coaches, 1 or 2 coaches, because that's the only coaches that they see, and those are the only coaches that talk to them. So then when they get put on another team with new coaches, they're not happy, so mom and dad aren't happy because they're on the wrong team. Well, in all actuality, if that kid was used to talking to all the coaches, it wouldn't matter what team they were on, because they were happy to just talk. So I think that's a big thing that we could all, myself included, get better at, is talking to every kid in the gym. Whether it be a gymnast, whether it be a cheer, whether it be a little kid or a senior kid, it doesn't matter. Talking to them, even if it takes 6 months to break down that wall before they're finally talking to you, I think that is really big in their communication.
Awesome. Yeah. So one thing that we do is like when you found a strategy that works, keep doing it, and then share it with others. So that's great. Wow, that's great. You have so many passionate people here. Awesome.
We're excited!
Exciting people. All right, does anybody have any other questions? And then before we can go and hand in our sheets?
Oh, I think we have one more question.
bunch of sheep.
So the Epic Health Center,
Yeah.
it's more like a alternative kind of medicine
So
place?
we are considered a holistic medical clinic. So what we do is we combine a medical approach with a holistic approach. So our whole goal is least invasive to most invasive. That's our philosophy. So if we can help you get better without medication, without surgery, if we can help you take a proactive approach, like for a lot of people, I met a runner yesterday who was fine, but he said, I want to be running when I'm 80, so he wants to be proactive. So what we do there is we do chiropractic care, we do medical massage, we do physical therapy. We do have a nurse practitioner, so we can do some actual like more traditional type of medicine too. So what we do is we work as a team because different people need different things to different degrees. And so if we can get you in and have our team communicate with each other, we all have our eyes on you, figure out what is your concern, and help you get better naturally as possible. That's our goal. And wouldn't you agree? Like that would be ideal. Like if we can help you get better that way. So does that kind of answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So that, as far as like insurance goes, is that?
We do take insurance. Yep.
I have insurance. But
Do you take insurance?
Yeah, so we do have an insurance department. We have a wonderful insurance specialist who is assigned to every case, and so she does all of that verification. So we do complimentary verifications before you come in. So we let you know up front, what it's going to cost and everything like that. So yeah. All right. Just does anyone?